I've been asked to speak about Chief Earl Hill's vision for Mohawk language and culture for our Mohawk community here at Tonanaga. Chief Earl Hill was always very proud of his Mohawk identity. He embraced the language, he embraced the culture and the traditions, and he wanted those to be a living legacy for our people. He encouraged in every way the people to learn the Mohawk language. In response to the white paper policy of the Trudeau government in 1969, Chief Earl Hill Iroquois was one of the founding members of the Association of Iroquois and Allied Indians, and so the association promoted the respect and embracing of our culture and our languages and traditions and traditional knowledge. Here at Tonanaga, Chief Hill was responsible for organizing along with David Maracle to go to the Mohawk speakers who were fluent speakers in the community and getting them to start without any resources a Mohawk language class. And another way the language was passed down from generation to generation was the singing of the Mohawk hymns at wakes or in houses. It was a way to share traditional knowledge, community stories, and also to carry on the language in the form of a song. So Chief Earl Hill was always one to help out with the singing. I don't know what kind of singing voice he had, but he'd always be borrowing somebody's glasses at the funeral home to help with the singing. Chief Earl Hill always encouraged people to take great pride in our identity, not to run from it, and that our language was just as good as anybody else's. It was a beautiful language. He wasn't really a fluent speaker for himself, but he did embrace a learning environment for the language and also the traditional dance. Chief Hill's wife, Lorraine, was a school teacher, and so she brought the different Mohawk dances to the community to take, so the children would take pride in the dancing. And so the dance started. They used to go to the traveling college for resources and use what resources were available to promote the continuing of our culture in the form of language and dance. Chief Earl Hill was very much an advocate for teaching the language in Quinte Mohawk School, and so was largely responsible for working with the Department of Indian Affairs, as it was called at the time, to get a Mohawk language teacher in the school. He said they wouldn't learn French in the school if they couldn't learn our own language. So as resources became available, the language was strengthened in the school, and I think the community's respect grew for both the language and the dance. They gave exposure to our language and culture to many people, including Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, and visiting dignitaries. They always encouraged visiting dignitaries to come to the community so that respect for our culture and language would be promoted domestically and internationally. So Chief Earl Hill and his wife Lorraine did a lot to generate a respectful attitude toward our people's original identity and our language and our culture and our traditions, and to always to encourage people that we should all take pride in that.